Boom.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football War Council's podcast. Join the gods of war, Jonathan Arneson and Mario and Daniel Gutierrez, as they guide you through the gridiron battlefield. Victory awaits. Let the War Council begin.
Welcome in to another meeting of the Fantasy Football War Council. I'm your god of war, Jonathan, and as always, I'm joined by Daniel and Mario, the Brothers Grimm. I went blank for a moment. The Brothers Grimm. Well, I was thinking like the Brothers Grimm, and then I had this joke that I wanted to say. One of them is a champion. I'll let you pick which one. You know,
Champio.
Somebody's a winner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
That's how I feel. Until next year. Until next year. We got to dethrone Mario. That's our whole purpose. Just dethrone Mario.
Hey, come at me.
Hey, I intend to. See, now that you wear two, slide him into picture. There you go. Now that you wear two, you're getting close, and I'm feeling you nip at my heels. So you become a nuisance now. So gotta slap that down. I'll slap that down. I can't have anybody on my level yet. No one's on my level.
Not yet.
I know.
Getting close though. How you have 3?
Yeah, I know. You're a little close. You're a little close.
I got 2. He's got 2. Ali's got 2.
2, but they're way too spread apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're really far apart. Anyway, so on today's War Council, we have lots of news. So much news that we didn't even type any Combine stuff. So we'll kind of dabble in the Combine, but we have lots of news today. So take us away.
All right. Zach Martin announces his retirement from the Dallas Cowboys, seeing no future moving forward with the team.
Yeah, I thought that was
Throwing
funny.
shade.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. Dude, Zach Martin had a long career.
Yes, he did. Very dominant career.
Absolutely.
First ballot.
Yeah.
And
this was not the best season for him, and he was just like, hey, if I'm not going to be up there super Pro Bowl talk, then maybe it's time for me to move on. Smart move on his point, not staying too long.
Seeing that the team made 0 moves the last offseason, did anything to make their team better, no anything. I mean, all I've seen so far, I've seen 2 moves so far from the team, and I've seen them restructure CeeDee Lamb's contract.
Yeah.
Money, and restructure Dak's contract today.
Yeah.
So saving up to, I think, between the 2 contracts is like $54 million they've opened up in cap space now.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So they very uncharacteristic of the Cowboys. So we'll see if Jerry loves a big splash at anything that gets him in the media. So we'll see if there's a big splash out there. I don't know. It's kind of a little free in the free agent market. It's not as titillizing as normal. But Eagles Pro Bowl center Cam Jurgens went in for a back procedure on Tuesday. He's going to alleviate nerve pain, and they're definitely expecting him back in time for training camp. So this was like, hey, thank goodness season's over. Let's take care of this, which has been bothering me. So should be all good.
Yeah. Hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah.
Eagles are pursuing Myles Garrett hard. And Aiden Hutchinson is trying to recruit him. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
But Cleveland Brass is denying all talks. They do not want. I saw that. They say Myles is ours. They are not letting him go.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, are we going to see a holdout from Myles?
You know what? His talk is I ain't signing with the Browns, period.
Mm-hmm.
So Eagles and Bills are calling. Browns aren't answering, but Miles is going to be the one not answering the Browns if they don't do anything.
He's
He,
got one more year on his contract, right?
He does.
yep,
He
So he'll
does
play one
indeed.
more year and then he'll hit free agency. He won't
He's
accept a
gotta.
tag. He won't do,
yep. No,
He's
yeah,
gotta play for him.
he'll play and then that's it. But
He's gotta move that
he won't
contract.
show up to anything non-mandatory and
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll see him miss all mini camps.
They were saying on Diana Rossini was like, "Oh yeah, I could see hamstrings popping up on a few players that are." She was talking T. Higgins and Miles Garrett. They're like, "Oh yeah, bunch of people disgruntled." She was like, "I wonder how those hamstrings are gonna be feeling in Bengals territory and at the Browns camp." I was like, "Oh man."
Well, that's Daniel likes to call that one pop, pop, pop. Every time.
Pop that hammy. Ugh. Done it. Not fun. Coming in free agency, the new cap ranges were announced, and it is up to $279.5 million per team. This will help teams to retain key players they thought would leave in free agency. Only 2 tags, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of crazy that only 2 tags happened.
And one of them was definitely against their will. Bringing us into our next news point is the Bengals and the Cowboys. They always wait to the last minute for their free agents and calculating their cap percentages. Oh, man, yeah. So players, agents calculate their contracts by the percentage of the cap. So by the Bengals waiting to do a deal for T. Higgins and for Jamar Chase, what they really did was wait for the agents to be like, "Oh, hey, new cap level, new percentage. Uh, if Justin Jefferson made this much, we know that Jamar Chase wants more. That means the dollar amount jumps even higher." So that's crazy. They're saying Lamar's contract to go up to over 40. But
Jamar?
Jamar Chase, yeah. And then so the team tagged T. Higgins. Jamar and T. Higgins have the same have the same agent. And so it sounds like what the team is doing is they've stated over and over again that they use their cap to pay the players on the team and they don't believe in funny money at the end of contracts. So what that actually means is they don't like guaranteeing past the first year. And Jamar Chase wants guaranteed money, and they're kind of holding T. Higgins hostage on the 1 year tag. And so if Chase doesn't come down from his level, then they might actually work on trading him.
I could see it. I could see it. I could see it. I could see it.
They're kind of doing dirty there, so
Yeah.
go.
I mean, they had really good receivers. They had a shot. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're spoiled with riches, you're gonna make stupid mistakes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I could see Chase not signing a new deal and then walking.
I doing the Miles Garrett. Sorry, Joe.
Yep.
So, continuing our Eagles talk, we just have lots of Eagles talk so far. Howie continues to look like a genius. I believe the Eagles front office that came up with the injury insurance to pay out on injured players so that they don't have to count against the cap while not contributing to the team. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. The Browns are benefiting from that on Deshaun Watson right now. So
Majorly. Yeah.
50 million last year, 70 million next year.
Yeah, and they say that he has definitely played his last snap as a Brown for sure.
Yeah. So they'll actually have a little bit of cap space to work with, but not much.
Yep.
Crazy. Bears release tight end Gerald Everett. I wonder where he'll find a home.
Yeah.
Be interesting in free agency. He's a solid, backup tight end.
He's a good tight end. He did well for them, but hey, they got Cole Kmet, so they know what they got.
Cole Kmet's
Yep.
awesome, and this is a good tight end draft
That's
class too.
awesome. Oh
Yep.
yeah, definitely. Grab a younger one, right?
Yeah. Speaking of which, Shedeur Sanders did not participate at the combine. He did interviews only, and he said he'd participate in Colorado's Pro Day. Because of
Shocker.
his lack of participation, though, in both the combine and the Senior Bowl, teams around the NFL have cooled, and it's possible he drops out of the top 10. So that's word around that now the top teams are pursuing Cam Ward only, and that his name, along with Jackson Dart, Shook, Howell, and even Jalen Milroe are all seen as equal, and so that's gotta hurt.
Dang.
But you know, the
Tumble and
truth
tumble.
shall set you free.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I thought Ward and the other quarterbacks were better than Sanders anyway.
Ward is consensus the best one.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think so. And then I like Milroe. I do like Milroe. I like Milroe.
Well,
he's not.
we'll see how he does. I really wish he would have stayed one more year, but he gets a chance of actually being drafted this year. So
Yeah.
I think
Just
next year would be
from
harder.
his prototypical size and measurements, like he'll get drafted.
Well, they said he's a real solid leader, and his interviews, he's one of the best interviewers of all the quarterbacks this year. So that really, really pumps up some teams because they're like, oh, okay, if that's the leader for our locker room, then we can work on some things. And then they force those kind of people on the coaches. And so Milroe's stock could be really well. And you know what? We just saw how good Saquon was as a leader and how much that boosted the Eagles. So, yeah, leadership matters in the NFL.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers have been outed as the team voting to ban the tush push.
Bunch of fucking pansies.
I mean,
It's the worst.
it's an unstoppable play. You cannot stop it. So.
Yeah, but nobody else has been able to duplicate it. So the fact that nobody else has been able to duplicate it, it's kind of a special thing. It's not like a cheat code. It's just a cheat code for them because they're so good at it. But
Yeah.
what other play has been banned because nobody else has been able to stop it?
Interesting topic. That's a thing we should talk about. Banned plays.
And well, they also said too, if you look at the analytics of it, it's dropped to 85%, and without Jason Kelsey there, and with Hurts being injured last week. So actually, what they were showing was, I think the Bills, despite what we saw in the postseason, were actually running it at a higher level and using it more often than the not more often. I think the Eagles used it 19 times and the Bills were 9 or something like that. So they used it half as many, but were more successful.
More successful. Yeah. I did notice they used it and they used it well. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, something that should have happened last offseason. Deebo Samuel is traded to Washington for Washington's fifth round. Sold him on the cheap. Washington will pay all of his $17.55 million salary, Immediately after, John Lynch said that no players, including Ayuk, are off the table. Apparently, ownership wanted to let Ayuk go to Pittsburgh, and Shanahan last minute convinced them that he was vital to the offense. Ownership is now convinced that he is not valid for the offense and has burned some bridges with his behavior, holding out last season and all that. So, yeah, I can't really blame them, especially you've got Jennings on your team,
Yeah.
and he does all the dirty work and doesn't complain, is a better leader and all of that. And then you've got two guys that got paid that ended up being divas. Yeah, I'm okay with what they've got in that receiver room to jettison those two.
Mm-hmm.
Let Jennings shine.
Yep.
Draft something young out of this year, I think would be a lot better for him. Yeah.
I mean, Ricky Parasol was really good towards the end of the
Rick,
year too.
Ricky Parasol. Yeah.
Yep. So the latest news as of this morning also was that John Lynch might be floating this out to the league to see if anybody wants Ayuk because they're looking at his timeline to come back, and since it was what was it from week 7 his injury, um, he might not be back in time for the mini camps, and so that could delay his ability to be available during the season. So
Mhm.
they're looking at trading for a veteran, swapping to another team, and possibly getting a pick because of the value that Ayuk is seen at. And so that's where it's looking at now, and it's yeah. So that seems like where the team's actually coming from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then Mario.
Yeah. Well, here's this one was hilarious. So Matt Stafford was talking about contract talks with the Rams, and things started getting heated after his wife was going on her podcast and talking about how her husband's not paid enough, and there was a standoff there for a while, and the Rams allowed him to see other to speak to other teams. And so it was told that his agent was allowed to speak to other teams. And those teams were the Raiders and the Giants, who stepped up the most. And it was said by Jordan Schultz that in Montana, Stafford was at Tom Brady's house and they were discussing contract talks. Ian Rappaport quickly said, "That's BS. It's not true. They were both skiing in Montana near where Brady lives and ran into each other. And that's not the same as going to Brady's house and having contract talks." So then at the combine, Jordan Schultz uh, went into the Starbucks where he knew Ian Rappaport was. And by the way, Jordan Schultz's dad is the CEO of Starbucks, and confronted Ian Rappaport in a loud shouting match and saying, "If you want to come at me, say it to my face." And it was very a very interesting scene at the combine amongst all the NFL insiders. So yeah, it was hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, but then it was starting to come out that the other insiders say that Jordan's got all daddy's money, and they call his reports error Jordan's
Ooh.
because he doesn't check his sources that often.
Ooh. Damn.
So I was like, ooh, when you
Ouch.
call down intention, see what happens.
Yeah. Ouch. Okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That's funny. That's a good piece of news. I like that. That's better than this. I gotta deal with this one. So
Yeah.
Chris Godwin will not be tagged by the Buccaneers. they will let him go and get paid elsewhere. Go get your money, Chris.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just going to let him test the market and actually do what, try to do what
Yeah.
the Giants tried to do with Saquon.
It's possible.
Yeah, well.
But he's also towards the end of his career. They got Jalen McMillan. They ran their offense perfectly fine without him.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a massive Chris Godwin fan. I love Chris Godwin.
He's phenomenal.
He will be a hit for the team to lose that leadership alone. But I can see why.
And any team that gets him is going to benefit greatly from him being just a part of the locker room and what he brings on the field, even though I don't know how many years he still has in him. He is just, he leaves it all out there. And
He's just a locker room guy.
we love that man.
I would hate this for him, but a good place that he could do a lot of good would be like the Jaguars or Chicago, because they've got up and coming receivers. Get that mentorship in there, pay him extra. Don't pay him for what he's going to produce on the field. Pay him for what you're going to do to what he's going to do to your team.
Yeah,
that I think those are two places that he could probably really help the culture of the team.
Yeah. Liam Cohen would probably love to have him back. So at the Jags is a great place. The place I don't want to see him go, but I think would make a lot of sense, is actually in New England, because they have so much cap space, and they used up draft capital on Baker, who was a developmental receiver, and Jalen Polk, who was supposed to come out and be kind of like a Godwin, and ended up doing nothing. And so that's been blamed on coaching. And you put Godwin into that in that locker room, and I think he could really do well for all the receivers there.
I just had a thought was Baltimore, who has a bunch of young receivers who could really need a veteran in there to show them around.
Oh, that would be
Baltimore would be a studly spot for him, actually.
That would be studly.
I wouldn't mind seeing him in Baltimore. Good for him. Get another Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah. Arizona's a question mark too.
Yeah.
That might be.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that would be mostly.
I don't know. I think it's who's throwing you the ball, and Kyler Murray. That's Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray has the opposite problem of almost all the other running quarterbacks. He only throws between the numbers. And so when you look at his stats versus you look at Justin Fields and Hurts and all the other ones, they're throwing outside the numbers, and the coaches can't get them even on design to throw inside. Kyler's the opposite.
A one-look guy. He's also a one-look guy. I've watched his film. He's a one-look guy. He doesn't take a second look. He will just go one pass, throw.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's only got one window to look through. That's a problem.
Well, I mean,
he
didn't even throw it to that damn window.
He
didn't even throw it to that damn window. Let's be honest.
He's shorter than Bryce Young, isn't he?
Hey!
He's built more like a running back.
Drew Brees was the same height. He did just fine. Come on.
So what you're saying is they need to put mirrors on the top of the stadium so you can see over the line.
Yeah, that would work. Or just on the lineman's helmet. Just so
have they designed the football that it gets controlled by an Xbox remote and he can do it by that way? Because I think he does really well at that.
So. He's not shooting people though, so it's not as good. It's like, I bet you he's pretty damn good at Madden, though.
I was just gonna say, do you think he's good at Madden?
Yeah, pretty sure he's pretty. I think they're all pretty good at Madden. The processing speed is something that they have an unfair advantage on. Jets. Next bit of news: Jets have released Davante Adams. Surprise, surprise.
Shocker.
They're trying to dismantle that Aaron Rodgers rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a waste. Why did we do this?
Mhm.
Oh, they did also let go of the other guy he brought over too.
Alan Lazard.
Yeah,
Alan
They gave
Lazard.
him permission to seek
a trade.
a,
That's
Mhm.
a
right.
trade.
He's still on the roster, yes.
That's
Yeah.
right. And then Eagles are going younger. Why not? So they've released Darius Slay
Yeah,
and
the two
James
corners that they
Bradbury
got are better.
because the two guys they drafted
Quentin
were
Mitchell and Cooper DeJean.
incredible last year. And so, yeah, I mean, if you don't need the bloated depth, that there are some good cornerbacks in this draft. Also, safeties, especially actually in this
Some
draft.
good safeties in this draft.
So yeah, I would do the same thing. Go, you guys, while you still can get another contract somewhere else, go for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where Darius lands. He has so much to still give a team. So,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah. Travis Hunter told scouts at the combine that he feels like he's Shohei Ohtani out there on the field. Very special.
That's how some people view him.
Yep, I've heard him. They said he'll be the NFL Shoya.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, I don't see that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the possibility is not zero.
No, definitely. But when you
And
weren't
that's more than any other player.
even in
Yeah.
college, he wasn't even the best at either position. That's the thing.
He's
I
the best in this
totally agree.
draft at either position, but not the best at the position in college. Yes.
I even disagree with that. I would say as a cornerback, he might be my third favorite. And then as a receiver, his physical skills are better than any other receiver on this draft. However, you need to actually be a part of those meetings and do more than the limited route tree that they were having him on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's where my concern is
Mhm.
that like when he was at Colorado, all he did was work on his body. He didn't go to any meetings. He didn't do any of those things. Like he was in recovery all week because he was playing like 110 snaps a game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like he's just recover all week and be
Yeah.
ready to go. And you're not going to be able to do that at the NFL level,
So
especially as a rookie coming in.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So he maintained a 4.0 average and watched film like nobody's business. So that was it. But you're gonna have to go into the meetings and discuss routes and everything with your team in the NFL. So it's gonna be an interesting transition. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Bengals have released ex Tampa Bay Buccaneer Alex Kappa. He
Mhm.
finished the season with the worst grade from PFF out of guards. Ouch. It was his second year? Yeah, second or third year as a Bengal.
Yeah. And didn't
And
he was signed today by
the
he was
Raiders.
picked up by the
The
Raiders?
Raiders
Yeah.
signed him, yeah,
He was
as a
picked up by
depth
the
piece.
Raiders signed him. Yeah, you know, he was great in his prime and might be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lyman, you know, he's been playing for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yep. Who's that? Me? Okay. The NFL report cards came out, and it was quite interesting to see some of these. Miami sits at the top with an A plus. There was 3
That
A
I did not
pluses.
see coming.
Yeah,
Wow.
neither did I. Right? Neither did I. Minnesota and Atlanta, which Atlanta I expect to be sitting up there with their owner. We all really like their owner.
Yeah, the
But
owner's awesome. And
um,
Minnesota past 3 years, I think, has been number one. So
mhm,
I mean, in the top 2 or 3. So
mhm.
I'm
They've been up
not
there.
surprised to
Yeah.
see them in number 2.
Yeah. But nice to see it's interesting to see some of these grades as you go down the list, and some teams that totally flopped in certain areas. You
Yeah.
to see some of those F and F minuses out there. You
Hmm.
woof,
Dude,
right?
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh man.
And
Like F minus from Buffalo for travel. I really want to know what that F minus like. What are they busting? They're not even in a plane. They weren't even
Wow.
like Spirit Airlines. They were just Greyhound buses. Like what was it? So
well, I heard Chase Daniel was talking about that because somebody brought it up to his attention, and he said, "Yeah, well, think about it. You pay them to be big guys, and so some teams only give premium players what's it called, first class, and everybody else has to ride coach." And they were like, "So you have these linemen who don't fit in one chair."
nope.
And if and that they're like, yeah, so then they have to pay out of pocket for the rest, or they're feeling uncomfortable, or that he's like, so the plane ride, that he's like, that's actually a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're these
A
guys
big
aren't
person.
exactly
Yep.
healthy all season too, so they might be icing and whatever, and they can't even fit in the chair. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And have you
Yeah.
seen two of those large people try to fit in next to each other? It's like a seat and a half each. Like yeah.
Come here, bro. Just
Yeah.
get comfier.
Yeah,
Arm
yeah.
around each other.
They're hugging each other, and
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
only you don't see the middle seat between them. That's it's just it's swallowed up.
I know.
Philly got F for travel. They're gonna go out and buy a jet right now.
Yeah, right. That's the shocker is when you see a Super Bowl team with an F, you're like, oh man.
Well,
But I
Kansas
mean,
City,
it's only travel, so
they
Kansas
they
City.
well,
they ranked one of the worst
Kansas.
last year.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I remember that. I do. Now,
Tampa, man,
yeah.
ownership drown him,
I have preached
which I'm
this for
shocked.
years. Nah, I'm not though.
I know
I'm
you're
not. Since the purchase of Manchester United, this is what we've gotten from our fucking ownership, and I've preached it since then. So sorry, it's that I love our team, but our ownership has done. This is what I've seen since the purchase of Manchester United. I'm with our team on this one.
I've seen them retain people at a higher rate than any other team. So
I mean, they're treating some people right, but I don't know. I think our ownership could be doing a lot better. Just saying. Nothing.
all right.
But I really, I don't know. Maybe it's just I know I've had this talk with Daniel a lot. Daniel, we've talked about this.
At least it's better than Robert Kraft
Oh,
Yeah,
there are a lot of things that are better than Robert Kraft.
and Arizona's.
Arizona's bad.
Yeah, Arizona's is really
But
bad.
but yeah, I still don't think that they should be in the category of Kraft in Arizona.
No, I mean like
But
the D plus. I would like to see it no lower than a C minus. Let's be honest. But
yeah,
Yeah.
I
that
think they were
hurts
a
as a D
little
plus.
harsh.
Yeah, that hurts as a D plus.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I mean, hey, you gotta kick them in the pants and say, hey, look, you're not doing good for us. Be better. Like,
See, now I think that my brother and I discussed a little bit of a theory of they retain staff and players throughout their entire careers,
mm-hmm.
so they don't know what it's like in any other team. So it could just be the fact that there are certain things that they've been there for so long that they have gripes with, that it might be a little skewed because you're not a well-run, well-graded organization and not retaining players. Do you know what I mean? Like those things don't match. Staff wouldn't want to be there, and players wouldn't want to be there if they were actually the 26th best organization in the league. It could just be they wish that things were better because they have no idea how to grade. How many free agents are actually on the team? Not many. And some of the free agents that are on the team came back to Tampa. So
Yeah.
what's that about? If you're graded that bad, players aren't going to be trying to get back into your organization.
Well, I mean, if they feel they've got good a good unity, and under Baker, we have a very good unity. We have good coaching. We have great leadership under Jason. Under Jason, we trust, and
I mean, his first 5 years weren't particularly good.
no, they weren't great. They
No
weren't
other
great.
ownership would have given him that much rope to get to the point that he is now.
Absolutely, but look at him now. Look at him now,
That's-
and we in Jason we trust. But we did, yeah. I bashed him the first 3 years. I know I did.
That should go some credit to ownership, where they're giving
Yeah.
him a D plus, because if they didn't do that, they wouldn't be in the position that they're at right
True,
now.
but I think maybe they're grading ownership on other things. I don't know, but
Because they've
here
got
are the
gripes
grades in weight room
about
and
other
things.
things. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. See?
I think maybe you're right. Okay. You might have a point here. But like, I don't know. Me as I'm not in the building, and I've had this gripe with my ownership since Manchester United. I feel like our team has come second hand because of them, and it's like that's how I have viewed it as a fan. So
I think you are on the nose throughout the 2000 teens. In 2020, it changed, and that's when they went and got Brady and they got
Mhm.
Arians.
Yeah.
When ownership went out and got Arians with Jason Light, they made more of a concerted effort to
It
be
feels
more
like they
involved with
cared
the team.
more. They felt like they cared more, but I feel like
Because it's the kids. The kids
Yeah.
are not doing it.
Okay, but here's how I feel now. Don't get me wrong. Just we got them their Super Bowl. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like you got what you needed. Just go back. We'll be back in 20 years for another one. That's how I feel like. It's just kind of like, all right, you can go back.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I know. Hey.
Just jaded. I'm just jaded. We didn't go out and get Baker and try to sign everybody
love
else
Baker.
back. And
I love Baker. You know that. I have a
Jaded.
Baker in there. I'll go put it on right now for the fans to watch. So
All right. Who's up? 18? Me?
you, yeah, take it
Eagles
away.
are rewarding. What is it? What do they call him? Shay? Saquon Barkley with a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid running back in NFL history, per sources. The deal makes Barkley the NFL's first $20 million per year running back. Barkley also has the ability to earn an additional $15 million in incentives and escalators. Ooh, yeah. I love when they put those in them.
Yeah.
The deal includes $36 million fully guaranteed at signing. Cha-ching. And the Eagles are taking the rare step of extending Barkley 1 year into his 3-year deal, and the same in the league year, which they signed him to the initial contract. So,
And they just did sign him, and now they are extending him again. So it's like, hey, we know you've got 2 more years on your contract. Let's give you another one, and we're going to make those 2 years worth $20 million a year. This is what I want to see, because running backs need to be praised again in the NFL, and they're not.
Yep.
They need to praise them again.
Yep.
Bring back the power backs.
And this draft coming up has the potential to change the narrative on running backs.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. There's the future.
And
he's the LT. He's our future LT right there.
Yeah, and Saquon, he changed the culture. Had a problem last year, and they fell apart. He came in and he changed the culture for the team in such a positive way that they won the Super Bowl.
I see you highlighting it. Do it. Delete it.
Yeah.
We've already talked about it. Delete
That's what I
Dak
thought.
Prescott. Yeah, delete Dak Prescott. We already talked about him. Who cares? We don't need to tell the numbers of 56 million. Who cares?
Yeah.
He's not worth his 56 million.
Yeah. So what they were saying is that this move just helps people want to join the Eagles more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because if you really reward the people who are contributing, people want to contribute.
Yeah,
It's a really smart move.
It is. It is. And you know what? That's what you got to do. You reward the ones that are doing really well. Yeah, you can't pay everybody, but This guy carried your team literally
Yeah.
on his shoulders.
Yeah.
2,000 yards. Like, come
the
on.
the highlight of the year is him spinning and hurdling somebody backwards. That is the highlight of the
jump.
year, right?
Oh,
For the
man.
season. That is the one. Like every season, there's one play, right? That is the one play of this year. And people
Mhm.
ask him why we never see that before, and he goes, "I'm able to play free because my money's guaranteed, and I don't need to be worrying about my family." So
Yep.
what did the Eagles just do? They just made him $36 million of a safety net. He's going to be playing free for the
Yeah.
next 3 years. And he's not going to complain about it. He's going to be grateful for it, and he's going to go for it.
Oh, he's going to run his ass off.
Dude. Because at
I
that
want
point,
to
hey,
hear-
man, if something happens, he's going for broke.
Yep.
Mhm.
Leave nothing in the tank and then retire.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? I could do better next year. Want to see us break the record next year, you know?
Mhm.
Bring it back.
And the cool thing is they offered that to him a couple times. You want to go out there and do? Nah, man. He's like, as long as we win, that's what I care about. Like, just total leader all the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Which
great.
means
I would have liked to see him win. I would have liked to see it broken. You
it
know,
would have been nice. I like
yeah.
that he said, all I need is for me to go out there and try to be breaking a record and pull a hammy, and I'm out for the rest of the season at this point. And he's like, no, I'm not missing the playoffs. So we're going to go out there.
Yeah.
Now that he has a Super Bowl, maybe different, but
Yeah.
you
True.
never know.
True.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah,
not. He's a team player.
He's got
but
one
yeah.
of these now.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, golf. You get the golf clap on that one.
Yeah,
well
yeah,
played. Well played.
Thank you. Thank you.
But, I mean, yeah, 36 mil fully guaranteed.
All right, and our next bit of news is trade. Rams are in the process of sending veteran offensive lineman Jonah Jackson to the Chicago Bears in exchange for a 2025 sixth-round pick. The trade cannot be processed until March 12th. A lot of teams are doing this. What they're doing is designating them as June 1st, and so that their contracts are paid differently, and the new team will sign them March 12th.
Bears.
Yeah.
They're trying to do everything they can for that offensive line.
Protect that quarterback. Yep.
Speaking of which,
Oh yeah. Bears trade for guard Joe Thuney from the Chiefs for the 5th round 2025 pick. I mean, cheap for the second best Chiefs offensive lineman. That's pretty cheap.
One of these was actually a 2026 pick.
Maybe it was this one actually.
What was it? That one?
Maybe it was the Thuney pick. Yeah, hold on. I'll pull it up.
I think so.
Chiefs are just
I
trying to
think
free
it
up cap
was the
space.
Thuney pick because it was the Thuney pick. Thuney was
Okay.
the 4th, and it's a 2026 4th round pick.
Okay.
So I totally did. I did type that one in wrong.
Yeah. So that's not bad. Making
No.
some good moves there.
No, you know what? I see them filling in their offensive line here.
Hmm.
Don't hate me, guys. Don't hate me. Bears. What's it? Where do they sit? 20, 21, 19?
Yeah.
Ashton Gentry.
I definitely
I
think
don't
they're
think
going
it's
running
lasting
back.
that long.
They are one of 8 teams that sat down with him at the combine.
And other
And
teams
they're a
saw him
late
on
team.
film and don't care about whether or not they sit with him.
Oh, of course.
Correct.
Absolutely. But, I mean, you know, there were 8 teams that sat down with them at the combine, had talks with them, chats with them, and they were a little later. I see lots of moves being made, and if they're not going to go first-round offensive linemen like I thought they were,
Yeah.
this is the stud to grab. Pair your Roma Dunze with your Caleb and an Ashton. Hey, those 3 will be together for a while. I don't know. Hold up those fingers. They could have some rings like yours.
Yeah.
Just worth a lot more money.
I don't think he's going to last that long. I think
No,
he's going to be gone within the first 13
Hey,
as an
I
outside.
they expect him to last only to 14 or 16, and they're thinking a team may possibly jump up to get them in.
that is where I think. I think a team is jumping up to get this kid. I do not think he sits till 14 or 15. There's no way that
They,
kid sits that long.
well, we will see. We will see.
I mean, depending on what quarterbacks have been taken off the board, I could see the Raiders picking him up at 6.
That is something I have projected as well. I
Especially with
that.
That's what they
Chip
see.
Kelly and
Mhm.
Pete Carroll there. Like, he needs his running back. Like, that would make perfect
Mhm.
sense. I
They
don't.
go
I'm
best
like,
over offensive weapon or fastest wide receiver. That's usually what the Raiders go, right? That's their
Yep.
thing. That's like
Yep.
cocaine on a hooker's butthole to them. For
I do love what the Bears are doing, trying to upgrade their offensive line with veterans, especially since, Caleb Williams was the highest, had the most number of sacks this season. He also had the highest number of avoided sacks this season.
Over
Mhm.
50.
So it could have been so much worse because that offensive line was atrocious.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're just bringing in veterans because they're just going to be better than the pieces that they had there before.
Well, also, this is a really, really deep interior line also. And
Mhm.
so
It's a big boy.
if you get these veterans in there and their first pick goes to some young kid that can learn from these guys, that could be a solid flip of the line right off the bat.
Mhm.
So,
I could see them going D tackle for their first pick in that range. If they don't move up, that would be the most beneficial thing for their team is to pick up one of the stud D tackles in this class because there are some freaking stud D tackles in this class.
There are
And that
indeed.
is the one thing that they are missing on their defensive side of the ball. And so they are trying to put the offensive line in
Now,
place. They got young kids that they're really excited about, and you can go late round for some of these running backs that are just awesome also. And then you'll improve your entire team so much more by putting in a stud D tackle.
that's true. But they were mentioning Penei Sewell and how much he's able to do for the offensive line. And
Yeah,
there are
one of one.
two athletic freaks on the O line in this coming draft. And they're teasing that he could do enough with them where it's not the same as Sewell, but he could get them in packages.
like the Rams did. Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mad Max gets paid. Max Crosby, after talking about leaving Vegas, has a 3-year, just 3 years, $106.5 million contract with 91.5 guaranteed. You are our cornerstone for our culture and our team, are what the Raiders said.
Well, you don't get that many Raider tattoos on you to leave the team. Like, just saying.
He
I
was
mean, he
talking
had it
about
all
it
done in
too.
one go, so
Yeah.
they literally they put him to sleep and they tattooed him for like 6
Yeah.
hours and I had a team tattooing him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's,
So yeah, he's now the highest paid non-QB, and that was his third restructure in 4 years.
I mean, the dude is crazy. The dude is worth it. And this is their time to shine. So Raiders better do something because they are wasting his talent, if not.
Paying a quarterback, but if he can set up them to be able to be winning towards the end of his career because of the culture that he brings in, it's all worth it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It just means that he won't get a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what Pete Carroll can do.
I would like to see
Hmm.
Aiden O'Connell in a Pete Carroll offense.
Same.
He's improved both years. He
Yes.
makes another jump. He has Chip Kelly, which is more of an offensive coordinator that is towards his skill set,
Yep.
which is, you know, having those decisions made, those reads, and being more of a shorter pass with a long ball dialed in every now and then, like an old West Coast, offense, just with a lot
Oh,
more
yeah.
moving parts. If I were them, maybe draft a quarterback later. But yeah, I would go for if Genty's there at 6 for the Raiders.
Yeah.
I hands down, I would pick him at 6. I
Pete-
don't care who else is on the board. He's going to do better for that team than anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm calling anybody a fool at 1, 2, or 3 that doesn't take him. Let's be fucking honest.
People in the
Not if
around
you
the
need a quarterback.
organization. People around the organization expect them to take Genty and then best possible quarterback in the second round.
Yeah, that's fine. And if you suck because it didn't work out in quarterback, guess what? You're gonna have a high pick next year.
Yep, and you're gonna
Look
get
what
a good
Atlanta
one.
did, right?
Yeah.
Like what Atlanta did with Bijan. They picked Bijan super early, and then they sucked. They cleared house, and they still got Penix at 9.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like, it's a possibility. And next year's QB class, if you're in the top 10, you might be sitting pretty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there are a lot of really solid options next year.
But
yeah, there's a couple. One or two. So
5 or 6. 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Seattle releases, straight up just drops. Tyler Lockett, thank you for the years. Goodbye.
Mhm.
And DK Metcalf instantly says, I want to trade.
Yep.
JSN immediately posts to his ex account. Ayo, what the fuck?
Ayo!
Yeah. Yeah, he's pissed off. He's like alone in his wide receiver room going, hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
It's JSN time.
Yes.
I hope so.
He's a perfect volume receiver. It's JSN time.
He is.
He did
good.
He did so good when both of those players were out. They'll let him walk. And DK wants to go to be a Raider.
Yeah, let him go.
He wants to go play, and that would help that offense.
He's a Raider. Hey,
yeah.
He's a Raider.
He's
a Raider through and through.
Right. I mean, he might only be in half the games this season because they get so many fights. But hey,
Hey, that's all right. He fits the structure. He fits what you want as a Raider.
He fits that offense so well because all he's going to do is keep using that massive size and speed. Run. Just run.
Yeah.
Oh,
and Carroll knows him.
Make them think that we're going to throw it to you. Make them think we're going to throw it to you. And then open the rest of the field.
DK's run with better hands.
Run with better hands. Slightly.
Yeah, he's like Godzilla run because
there you go.
Cordell wasn't as big as DK. DK is a monster.
Godzilla. He's like
now that's what I'd like to see is DK go to Pittsburgh because Arthur Smith always loved Cordarrelle Patterson.
No, I don't want to
and
see
what
that
could
either.
he do with DK?
I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what he could do with DK?
Yeah. They're like, you're just gonna be our wannabe Derrick Henry, and they're just gonna hand him the ball from the backfield. And you change his position to running
back. He'll be punt returner, kick returner, running back, screens.
He would never make it that long because of the hits and cheap shots.
He's playing the Wildcat quarterback.
He would lose his head way too many times.
He's lining up in the Wildcat. Shit, here we go again.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, thanks for marching with us. Tune in next week where we... Who knows? Lots more news.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We are bi-weekly. It's the off season, people. So we have lives.
And wives.
More news. Wives, lives,
wives.
children.
Children.
More news. Combine talk. I'm sure we've got things lots of stuff we missed. Because
It will be after free agency starts, so we're going to have a shit ton of news.
it's a double chunky, so you have to wait.
Oh, he said. I thought he was saying choke it. I was like,
No.
oh man, is that what we're really playing?
Chunky, man.
Oh, okay.
Chunky. It's for those big boys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big boys out there running. Man, there were some good 40-yard runs from the big boys, too. Woo.
Under
Dude.
5? There were a lot of them under 5.
Dude, yes, there was. Oh, man.
If you're 300 pounds, you should not be allowed to move that fast.
No.
Like,
when
the
there's a
physics-
handful of them that are like 4.92, 4.95, you're like, yeah,
not right. You
In
know,
the
I like
they're
4.89. That's
yeah. There's some good ones.
They were faster than the first group of receivers. That's how I feel.
that
First group of receivers, I saw the time and I was like, oh,
It's a little lackluster.
these
Yeah.
are so bad. I've never
Yeah.
even heard of this school. Why is this person here?
and the tight
Because
ends.
they're like,
too.
we need some receivers to
Yeah.
scrape in that barrel. You know,
The tight ends too, dude. They were.
the tight
Hey, but
ends
there was a couple good tight
putting
ends
up
out there.
numbers.
Oh, actually, I
There's
do
no
have
good
this
ones there.
one thing to mention is that Gunnar Helm, he ran a 4.9,
Gunnar Helm. Okay.
and he's a tight end.
No.
Everyone expected him to be this athletic freak, and apparently, right off the go, he rolled his ankle coming out of the block. So it was a false start, and they let him do it again. He did not choose to run a third time, but he did the rest of his drills, and everyone's like, dude, he's slow. He's not draftable. So we have to look to his pro day and see how much better he does, because that's a later development. And so he shared pictures. His ankles swelled up huge, and he didn't tell anyone until after his exercises because he was afraid they wouldn't let him try.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I had notes.
If
I had
anything-
notes.
If anything, his stock went up.
Yeah.
If his numbers at his pro day come back semi-favorable, his numbers might have gone up because the teams are like, look, he put it all out on the line. This is
Yes,
He came
yes.
out.
So that's what some people are saying is that if his pro day comes back decent, that'll go from him not being draftable and being a faller to he'll be back up to where some of the deeper scouts were really thinking he might be a huge riser.
I mean,
Mhm.
the tight end class is so good this year that they're saying that they could break a record for tight ends in the first round.
Yeah, which is
Because
crazy. I
because
don't
the
see that.
measure-
Man, yeah, that's crazy because there's no big tight end in the group. So
No. Tyler Warren. Oh heck yeah.
Well-
And Loveland. Those two guys.
yeah,
were away
and
the whole time.
Loveland. You're
And
right. And
Taylor.
Loveland.
Yeah.
And Loveland.
Mason Taylor.
and Finnan.
Yeah, Fannin Jr.
Fannin didn't have a good combine, but his film is incredible, and he wrecked people at the Senior Bowl.
They're like, he walks like a duck, doesn't look athletic, always does bad measurables, but he led all of college in receptions. So he does something right.
And he murdered people in the Senior Bowl
Oh, yeah.
at
The
practice.
Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
And so
there
it's
was
like some guys, they just don't measure well like that, but you put them on a football field and it's a different story.
He's just
Yeah.
a ball player on the
Yeah.
field. So yeah, he's one of my favorites. So yeah, they said Helm could
That was
be
a good game
right
to
behind
watch.
those. Yeah.
Yes, I forgot. Senior game was a good game to watch. So, all right. Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you all. Yes. And as always,
Keep conquering.
keep
That's
talking.
right.
We're gonna we gotta
Show no mercy.
Champio.
Thank you. Interesting.
In a realm where legends rise and dreams collide, The council gathers with power as their guide. Jonathan the strategist with wisdom's might.
I feel like this song was straight out of The Witcher with Bard.
Thunder roars like the cracks the
Yes.
sky.
Vox Machina.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Oh, heck yeah.
The gods of war lead the charge once more.
See Scanlan riding his hand.
Scanlan's hand.